It was the Antoine Fisher story. That scene in the end when they opened the door and he saw his whole family. And then as he walked his way through, everybody's looking at him with like wonder and love in their eyes. And there's all this food and they accept him and embrace him. When I saw that, I said, yeah, that's what I want. I'm going to get that. And it allowed me to break something inside of me, which was this fear of hurting the people who raised me and this shame surrounding wanting to know who my biological family is. But I went to my father and told him that I wanted to start this journey reluctantly with a lot of anxiety. And his response was, you have every right to know who your family is, and I'll do anything that I can to help you. He didn't have any information for me, but what he did do was he paid $500 that I didn't have. He paid $500 for the DCF to send my biological mother a letter and for them to give me non-identifying information. I sent this letter to my mother that was very warm, very heartfelt, very honest. And I told her that I wasn't upset with her, that I love her, and that I want a connection with her. I would love to meet her. And what I got in return was a no thank you. They didn't tell me where the no thank you came from. They just told me that they were sure that it came from the family. And yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And that was very hard to hear. That was almost as hard as hearing that I'd been adopted in the first place. But I was determined to make this happen. So I got the information, the non-identifying information, and it shared very little. But there were some details that would help me 15, 20 years later finally find them. And that information was, I have two brothers, one that's 1 year older than me and the other that's 5 years older, or six years older than me, and the age of my mother and my father. The only thing was, and I thought this was very weird, I'm about 6 foot tall, and my mother was documented as 5'3", and my dad was documented as 5'2". And I always wondered, like, the information was self-reporting information. I always wondered, was that my mom's way of kind of like shitting on my dad a little bit? Because it just didn't make sense how somebody 5'2" and 5'3" can make, you know what I mean? I always thought that was crazy. And it did turn out to be wrong. But after that, things went cold because the hospital couldn't offer anything. I was adopted at birth, so there was no original birth certificate with my biological mother's name on it. I didn't know anything about them at all. So yeah, things went cold until the DNA matching services started. And I just know everybody from the 70s, 80s, and 90s especially were like, fuck. When you think about it, so many lives and lies have been blown up by the truth because of this service. And I was absolutely ready to be the truth that blew up a life. And I was.